Without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the stage Andrew Penca, who is the Executive Director and General Manager of Batteries at Cummins. Please help me welcome Andrew.
Okay, afternoon, almost. Everybody's enjoying the beginning of their lunch today. Well, Ben and the rest of the BIC team, thank you very much for having us today. We very much appreciate it. And as I'll close, but I will foreshadow a bit, thank you for your partnership. It's been outstanding, and I've only been involved for, I guess, a few short months since coming back to Indiana, but it's been quite good, so thank you. So today, what I'd like to talk to you about is a bit about the journey for Cummins, really over the last kind of 18 months. And how many of you were here last year at this event? Okay, and you probably heard Srikanth Padmanabhan speak from Cummins, and he probably talked to you about our intentions in the electrified power space. And I'm happy today to report to you that probably most of those promises he's made, we made good on. So I'm going to talk to you about that as well. I'll give you a bit of an idea of some of the products we have. Ben's sexiness is all in the eye of the beholder. Those black boxes are incredibly sexy out there. It doesn't measure up to the motorcycle, but nonetheless, I'll show you a bit of action on where the batteries are being used and talk to you a bit about the product, and we'll try to stay within my 5 to 7 minute time frame. Okay. So for us, Ben talked about you may not immediately go to electrified powertrains or electric power when you think of Cummins. Next year will mark the 100th anniversary of Cummins, largely in the diesel space. But for us, it really is about the power of choice. So when we think of customers, we recognize that there isn't a single solution for the multitude of customers we serve worldwide. So this isn't an all-in bet for Cummins to go full electric. As you can see on the screens behind me, again, the intent is to broaden our portfolio and give people a choice as we move forward. Right, full recognition that technology is changing, demand is changing among communities, customers, and users, and we want to be ready for that. And the electrified power space is one area we can step into and have so far. So a year ago, I don't know if this slide was included in Srikanth's deck, but he probably made the proclamation that we will electrify, we will get into the space, and indeed we have. So just a bit of the accomplishments and I guess some key milestones for Cummins really over the last 18 months. So in 2017, last February, kind of Cummins initially or officially announced its business development initiative in the electrified power space. So that was the beginning of electrified power. And again, as I said, if you just kind of wind the clock back, pretty short amount of time. That effort really kind of started with 3 people. And by the end of the calendar this year, we'll have almost 300 people that are involved in the work so far. So quite rapid growth, and that has come both inorganically as well as organically. You also see that in midway through last year was our announcement around introducing a fully electrified powertrain with hybrid systems to follow that. And we've done that and announced our partnership shortly thereafter with Gillig, who is a bus OEM, and we're working with them right now on a project to deliver fully electrified buses. And the 74 kilowatt battery, the large battery that is out there, and that will be on the screen behind me, that is the product that we're developing specifically for Gillig and many other customers from that as well. Kind of our first foray into the battery space inorganically was the acquisition of Brammo. Brammo was headquartered and based out in Talent, Oregon, which is a small, beautiful town that is just south of Medford and north of Ashland, Oregon. If any of you have been out there, it's a wonderful part of the country. They too had dreams and got their work started on e-bikes as well. And the video I'm going to show you later on here in a few slides, we started partnering with Brammo in 2016 on this step-in van, delivery van that I'm going to show you. And started to work with them as we got to know them, their people, and their capabilities. One thing led to another, and we purchased Brammo in October of 2017. So that was kind of our first acquisition in the space. We didn't slow down much more in 2018. We completed the acquisition of a carve-out from Johnson Matthey. Some of you may have heard of Johnson Matthey. They're largely in the materials sciences space. They did have a battery systems division that was carved out, and we closed and purchased that deal at the beginning of 2018. They're based in Milton Keynes in the United Kingdom. And then In July of this year, closing in August, was our third acquisition kind of in the course of 12 months, and that was the purchase of Efficient Drivetrains, which is out in Silicon Valley, and they're largely a systems integrator. Right? So in terms of kind of the activity, this is where we've come over the last 12 to 18 months, been quite busy, quite active, and it's also started to broaden our reach. Those of you that don't know Cummins that well, Cummins officially operates in 193 countries around the world, largely again in the diesel space, power generation and component side of things. You can see with the electrified power business, we're just getting started and ramping up. And we are leveraging a lot of the facilities and capability that we already have, namely here in North America, India, and China. You'll see those as highlighted. The smaller dots in those highlights on the west coast of the US. Cummins does have a large distributor, Cummins Pacific, where we manage a lot of company-owned stores and dealers to service on and off highway equipment. It's kind of our sole West Coast presence, or was prior to the acquisitions. With EDI and Brammo, that has increased our presence out on the West Coast of the United States. And then with the acquisition of Matthey, that is in the United Kingdom, which we've got probably 3,000 to, I think, 4,000 employees throughout Europe for Cummins with our existing business. So they're integrating into that quite well. So in terms of our products, and some of those you saw on display, most of these, so the smaller, I guess if you wanted to turn them kind of lower voltage batteries, those were developed and had been developed by Brammo and came with the acquisition and are being used in a number of development projects for Cummins right now. One of those will follow, I'll show you that. And they developed these particular battery modules that can be used as standalone batteries themselves. So they've got their own self-contained BMS and can be used as a single module / pack, or they can be strung together and put in an enclosure for a larger system, as you'll see with the Pure Later van here shortly. And the larger battery, the 74 kilowatt hour battery, that is, like I said, being done in development for primarily our transit bus customer at this point. We are also looking at other applications where that battery can be used elsewhere, amongst a number of other projects that are ongoing at the time. So what you'll see in the video here is this is just the current trial we have with our lower voltage batteries. And this is up in Ontario right now, and it's Pure Later, which is a step-in delivery van.
The electric vehicle has been part of the fleet now for approximately 3 months, and it's met and exceeded my expectations so far. Some of the customer feedback I've gotten regarding the electric vehicles from my driver, and he's told me positive things. Customers are noticing this. It looks similar to the rest of the vehicles in our fleet. However, when they see it says electric, they don't hear any noise from it. They're asking questions. They're noticing Pure Later, they're noticing Cummins, manufacturing of diesel engines, and we're an old school shipping company. However, we're investing in new technology, so it sets us apart from everybody else.
So currently, the charge it holds can allow me to do 2 full days of work without having to charge. I do about 35 to 40 kilometers per day, and so it allows me to do 2 full trips and come back safely. People are expressing excitement towards me driving the vehicle, but more people are, I would say, shocked whenever they see me driving a vehicle that doesn't make the noise and they hear my sound system over the engine. It's a bit of a nice feeling.
So that, and I don't know how many of you have been in the area of product development or service offering development, but to go from one of those black boxes, a 4.4 kilowatt, and there's a 5.7 kilowatt, there's a combination of 6 and 5 accordingly, to moving that vehicle. And that vehicle's run 11,000 kilometers between development testing and the field trial. It's pretty damn cool. I mean, I gotta tell you, it's pretty neat to see in action and see it happening. And so this is kind of just the beginning, and it's excited a lot of us, and certainly it's excited me, because it does give you a glimpse of the future and where things are headed, and they've been a fantastic partner And there'll be more of this to come as we move forward. But we wanted to show you that, yes, we do have batteries. We're working on technology, cells, modules, etc. But we also have stuff that works, and it's powering applications, and we see a lot more of this to come. So as I wrap up here, again, finally, most importantly, I think, for today, is again to Ben and his team, is a big thank you for the partnership. And he alluded to some of the work we're doing around training, some of the short course development work that the Cummins team, which is seated here today, Gary Parker and many of the other Cummins folks have been involved with this. So again, thank you, Gary, and thanks for the rest of the team that have been involved with this. Thanks, Ben, for your support. I know on some of the occasions of our interactions, they've been short and to the point, and Ben has helped us in a few emergent situations of getting some things sorted out, and I very much appreciated it. And finally, it's been really neat to see. I talked about kind of seeing the battery in development, or you see the science behind it, and then it turns into something real. My family and I just recently came back to Indiana after having been gone for about a decade, moving around the world with Cummins. And when I left, the Energy Systems Network was just starting. And the seed of an idea around batteries and electric vehicles and institute was literally an idea on a piece of paper. And to be able to come back 10 years later and to see the progress that has been made, for Dave and Ben and all of you that are involved, a job well done. Really makes me proud to be back in Indiana. So once again, thank you. Questions during lunch or after, I'm happy to answer those. And enjoy your meal, and good luck to the rest of the presenters. Thank you.